All right, this will be our last video for session 9.1. So what we're going to do is we want to finish this form and we want to add some formatting to the table, okay? And what this is going to do is just make it a little bit more visually appealing. Okay, so in the very first column, we want to select SS Mississippi Star. So we're going to select that. And then on the ribbon, we want to click the Home tab, which we are already there. In the font group, we want to go to the font size arrow, which is located right here. Do our drop down box until we find 22, and then we want to click on that. Again, in the font group, we want to go to the font dialog box launcher, which would be this little arrow here. So once we click that, you're going to get the font dialog box and opens with the font tab selected, which is right here. You can see that that's part of the font. And in the effects section, okay, which is down here, I want you to click the small caps, which is located over here on the right, small caps checkbox, and then I want you to click OK. And then what happens is the lowercase letters in the selected text are now in small but uppercase text. Now on the first row, we want to select On Board Pottery. Okay, let me click in the middle there. So On Board Pottery. We want to go to the font size again, and we want to click 28. And once we click that, On Board Pottery changes to 28. And in the font group, we want to go to the font color arrow, which is located right here. And what we want to do, we want to click the teal accent 5, darker 25. I think this is probably teal. There we go, teal accent 5, darker 25%. So I'm going to click on that color, and it's going to be applied to that title. On the second row, we want to select the cells containing passenger contact details and options. So let's click and select those. And we want to change the font size of that text to 12 points. So we're going to go to 12. And the other thing that we want to do there is to also make it bold. So let's click this B button in the font, and that makes it bold. Now I want to go to the shipping information, and I want to change that font to 16. And I also want to make that bold. Now we've gone to shipping information. In the cell below shipping information, we want to select all of the text. So let's select it. Once we select all of the text, we want to change the font size to 8 points. And once you do that, we also want to make it italicized, which is the I in that same group. All right. And in the very last row, shipment will arrive in 7 to 10 business days. And then in the font group, we want to click the italicized button. So we're going to go here, click the I in the font group, and that makes that italicized. All right, now what we're going to do is add color shading to the cells, passenger contact details, okay, which is located right down here, options, okay, which are located here, and we're going to use gray shading to the shipment information section. All right, so we're going to select the cells, passenger contact details and options. Here we go, we've got that selected. And on the Home tab in the paragraph group, okay, what we want to do is we want to go to the shading arrow, which is a little like a bucket of paint that's being poured out. That's the shading. And then we want to click teal accent 5. This is our teal accent 5, lighter 60%, lighter 40%. There it is, teal accent 5, lighter 60% color. So we're going to click on that. And in the cell containing shipping information, click between the words shipping and information. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then drag down to this, to the second to the last row. down to the second to the last row. All right. And all the cells below the thick border are now selected except for the cells to the right of card number, expiration date, and notes. Okay, everything to the right of those. Okay, so that's actually correct. Press and hold down the Control key and click in the empty cell to the right of cards. Okay, hold on, that doesn't sound right. All right, so press and hold and click the control group. Click in the empty cells to the right of card number. All right, I'm there. And then drag down to the merge cell to the right of notes. Merge cell to the right of notes. And then, okay, hold on. So hit control. All right. Now all the cells below the thick border are selected except for the cells in the last row. I'm not sure about that. All right, so in the paragraph group, we want to click the shading arrow and click gray. There we go. Now we're going to go to shading. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Now we want to go to gray accent 6. These look like these are the gray. That's black. Let me come over here. Gray accent 6. Let me try that again. That's not right. Gray accent 6, lighter 80. Okay, that's the one that's right. Okay, and the cells that are selected are filled with the color I selected. You can see how light that is. Click in the merge cell in the first column containing the cell SS Mississippi Star. So I'm going to select that and change the shading color to teal accent 5. So we're going to go, not the font color, but the shading color. All right, so we're going to come over here. We want to go to teal accent 5 color, which is located right there. Now you will see what the table looks like without the grid lines being visible and without the hidden format marks. So we want to go to the paragraph group and get rid of those lines right there. So we deselected that, and on the ribbon we want to click the Table Tools Layout. Okay, and we want to go to the table group. Okay, and then what we do is click the View Grid Lines button to deselect it. And so now you can see, I think this should have been brought down further. Let's see, we need to go back in and adjust this. All right, so what I want to go, I think this would be design, no, this would be layout. Okay, let's see what I want to do here. I need to click on, all right, let's see, let me go to home. This is our borders button. Okay, I want to click in this box. Borders and shading. I want to add that, which I did. Now I'm going to make my cursor. And that's not working. see, insert to the left. Let's see what happens there. Nope, that's not right. My thing right here is not accurate, so I'm going to need to make that changes. I'm going to play with that for a little while, but up until this point you should have everything should look correct on this. You know, the other thing I could do is shorten that up, which is what I'm supposed to do anyway. Okay. All right, there we go. This is supposed to be taken down, so I'll need to adjust with that. All right, that is it for session 9.1. We will meet you back in the next video, and we will start looking at the project for 9.2. All right, we'll see you then.